Mikel Arteta wants Smith Rowe out and James Maddison in. Shocking story coming in today from the Daily Mail. No, I think it's Mirror. Right, Mirror. And it's a correspondent that's gonna hate to reveal us this story. Welcome to this channel, and it's the Rokani Media Football. It's the transfer news show. Mason Mount into the mix. Koulibaly. Chelsea feel like he's a failure and they want to sell him back to an Italian club. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And guys, continue to subscribe because we want to hit 14,000 subscribers before the end of this month. And as you see, just 6 days left to really call it quits of this month. Now, can we call it the second video of the day, because we came up early in the morning and brought you a story about Mason Mount. And now let's go eyes with the story that's gonna head to catch the eyes of many, and discussions have been really given room to proceed. We've been told by Tom Blow, he's a writer for the Mirror Football, that Arteta is considering allowing Smith Rowe to leave the Emirates to make room for James Maddison. Emily Smith Rowe may be sacrificed this summer to make room for new signings and provide the necessary funds for what is expected to be a mass clearing of a summer. Now, I understand that Arsenal really want to make a huge clear out, and that huge clear out is based onto the season that Mikel Arteta is going to hate to have with his players. That's it. I think this huge clear out wouldn't have been into a picture if at all Mikel Arteta and Arsenal never found themselves competing for the trophy. That's it. Arsenal have been ahead of schedule, and that has really put them in a situation of coming all out and doing the needful to know that we can win the trophy next season. Now, if you want to win the trophy next season, what kind of players do you need? Would you need a player like Emily Smith Rowe? I understand if Emily Smith Rowe could hit his form of 2021-2022 season, I think you would really need the player, because that season Emily Smith Rowe went ahead to really play 10 Premier League games, score 10 goals and 2 assists. At the age of 21 by then, would have gone ahead to really make a very huge upgrade. And I believe that if this season never saw him really get injured, he would have been one of the most important players of Arsenal this season. Now, let's see James Maddison. In the season of 2021-2022, he scored 12 goals and 8 assists, meaning that he scored 2 goals more and put up 6 more assists than Emily Smith Rowe. But remember, James Maddison was 25 years of age, and Emily Smith Rowe was just 21 years of age. There is a huge age difference between Emily Smith Rowe and James Maddison. Let's agree onto that. And one thing that Arsenal fans need to know is all about the injury proneness of James Maddison. That's it. Let's look a little bit about his injury record as James Maddison. Now, James Maddison this season only, I want 2022, right? He first got a hip injury, that's it, that kept him out until May 2022. So this season, he has been out for just 32 days. That's it. And I think Emily Smith Rowe has been out for very many days, and one will say that might not be an issue for us, because if at all we get in James Maddison, he brings a lot onto the plate. I agree with Arsenal fans that are really siding in for Emily Smith Rowe on getting in a lot onto the plate of Arsenal. Firstly, has goals on him. He has assists. Thirdly, he's a dead ball specialist. That's it. And he can play in multiple positions. That is James Maddison for you. But I understand Mikel Arteta went in for James Maddison in the summer of 2020 and 2021, Leicester was calling in for £60 million, and Arsenal were not willing to meet that. Before they got in Martin Odegaard, by the way, on loan, they first went in for James Maddison. But I think no Arsenal fan is regretting for them not having gotten James Maddison, because Martin Odegaard has gone ahead to defy all odds that he couldn't really go ahead and thrive into that Arsenal midfield. So, James Maddison, all Emily Smith Rowe. Guys, I'm sorry, but I understand James Maddison is a very good player, but I believe there is a player in Emily Smith Rowe that is yet to explode. That's it. Injuries have gone ahead to really put his season onto a very hard situation, and I think that has even brought the likes of Reece Nelson, Trossard to play ahead of him. But if Emily Smith Rowe can find himself fit, do the preseason work very well, I think he can force himself into that Arsenal team, because he's a very good player. He's direct, he has an eye for goal, and he's not a selfish player. He can really create those chances. Remember, he was first played as a central attacking midfielder, and when Odegaard came in through, Emily Smith Rowe found himself being played as a wide left forward, and he went ahead and really scored goals. So I think he can reach the Maddison levels. That's it. I believe there is a talent in him. He's just 22 years of age. 4 age difference in between him and James Maddison. Maddison is a Premier League proven player, and we expect that if at all he comes in at Arsenal playing with decent players around him, he's going to become a more improved breed of a player. But I wouldn't let Emily Smith Rowe go and then bring in James Maddison. One thing I will do is, if I'm bringing James Maddison, I bring in James Maddison and I loan Emily Smith Rowe. To see to it that Arsenal gives him 1 season out of Arsenal on loan and see how he's going to perform. If he blossoms like Florent Balogun, then we get him back like Chelsea did with Conor Gallagher. If he doesn't blossom, then Arsenal can sell him off. But I think he deserves one more season at Arsenal to prove his worth. That's it. So let's wait and see how that is going to pan out between Arteta, James Maddison, and Emily Smith Rowe. But I wouldn't really let Emily Smith Rowe go. If there is anything I would think of, it would have been a loan out of Arsenal, a long season loan, and then I see how he's going to prosper. If at all his progress is really remarkable, then I acknowledge he's staying at Arsenal the next season. If at all it doesn't, then they sell him off, because Unai Emery, a man who offered him his debut for Arsenal, is really wanting Emily Smith Rowe at Aston Villa. Let's go a little bit into this James Maddison story. As we've been told that he prefers to join Manchester United, a story has been dropped by Liam Trowny via The Athletic, and he has told us the following: that nothing is finalized, but it looks increasingly as if Chelsea's only remaining hope of convincing Mount to sign a new contract rests on the incoming manager Mauricio Pochettino making a compelling personal intervention, and even that may not be enough at this late stage. So Chelsea want to keep Mason Mount. Mason Mount doesn't want to stay at Chelsea. Chelsea are hinging all their hopes onto Mauricio Pochettino to come in through and really convince Mason Mount to stay, and obviously put himself in the mix of really going where he deserves to be. But I understand the situation at Chelsea, but I think Mason Mount is frustrated on how Todd Boehly is really doing business. That's it. The players he signed, close to 17 players, in 2 transfer windows, just showed a lot of naiveness into how a football club like Chelsea is supposed to be run. Being a boyhood club, born and bred, Chelsea flows in his blood. That is Mason Mount. He has been able to lift the Champions League for Chelsea. World Club Cup, Super Cup, and very many others, Mason Mount has realized that Todd Boehly is not the right person to steer Chelsea to where they want to go, and the tide has gonna hit to change because two managers have gonna hit to be sacked in the space of like 6 months, and Chelsea is not going to play into the Champions League. These players like Mason Mount are really so much driven by the future of the clubs. Now, 3 clubs are interested in Mason Mount, and they've shown us that they can keep managers for a very long time. Liverpool has been with Jurgen Klopp for 7 years. Arsenal has been with Mikel Arteta for 3 years. United has brought in Erik ten Hag, and there is green light that, or there are signals that Ten Hag is going to be at Manchester United for a very long time. Trust me, every player would like to be playing under a manager who is going to be there for a very long time. But for Chelsea, ever since Mason Mount made his debut in the season of 2019-2020, in the game that United beat them 4-0 at Old Trafford, he has not again found himself in a position of really spending 2 seasons with the manager. Frank Lampard spent 1.5 seasons at Chelsea and he was sacked. Thomas Tuchel spent 1.5 seasons at Chelsea and he was sacked. For Graham Potter, it was worse. He came in through, I think around September, October? And he was sacked. And then Frank Lampard is back. So he has not even spent 2 seasons with the manager. So that will really change his mind, and that's why he believes that he shouldn't be at Chelsea. And he had fallen from the picking position of the starting 11 of Chelsea, so he needs to find himself elsewhere. So it's going to be very hard for Pochettino to come in here and convince this lad to stay at a club of Chelsea. So he's sold onto a move to Manchester United. Arsenal is still pushing. Liverpool is still pushing. But looks like Mason Mount is sold on a move to Manchester United, as told to us by David Austin, and his other teams that are really wanting to get him have also been let known about his decision to go on and play for Manchester United. I understand for Arsenal that Arsenal and Chelsea are really in London. There is that beef. He might not want to go on and really play for a London club, but obviously let's wait and see how things are going to pan out. Now, as Arsenal is planning a huge clear out this summer, even Chelsea is one of those that are planning a huge clear out, with some players like Mason Mount wanting to go, and Chelsea is really not in need of them to go. But there are those that Chelsea are really fed up, and one of those is Koulibaly. Signed him last summer. Looks like Pochettino is not interested in keeping him at the club of Chelsea. Coming in from credible source, Ninza Kinsella, a Chelsea correspondent for the Standard Sport, has confirmed to us that Arsenal hope to sell Koulibaly back to an Italian side less than a year after signing him. But overseas clubs are reluctant to pay his high wages, and the player himself wants to stay to prove himself. Now, Koulibaly, I cannot judge him for the soon as gonna hate to have at Chelsea. That's it. Do you know why? The entire Chelsea side has been a mess. The entire Chelsea side has been in a total mess. I want to judge Koulibaly when Pochettino comes in through, stabilizes the ship, and Chelsea is playing very well and winning. That's when I'm going to come out and obviously judge Koulibaly whether he's a flop at Chelsea or not. I think he's a very good player, and unless otherwise Pochettino doesn't want him to start the club. But if Pochettino gives him a second chance, I think he'll prove himself. That's it. So guys, your thoughts on to Arteta wanting Smith Rowe out and James Maddison in are welcome in the comment section below. What do you think about Mason Mount? Do you think Pochettino will convince Mason Mount to stay at Chelsea? And lastly, Koulibaly, do you think he deserves a second chance under Pochettino or he doesn't. I sign out for now. See you later, and I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. It's a Thursday. Chelsea is playing Manchester United at Old Trafford. Thursday night football back at Old Trafford. See you later onto that on the other channel, United Matters channel, that covers strictly Manchester United. Ciao, ciao.